use a numbering system simply because it gets rid of words and concepts. There's a lot of baggage concepts around words like physical body. So the physical body really is our instrument. So I call that number one. And look, we have a perfect instrument here, which is a piano. I really envy musicians because their physical body, their instrument actually, is outside themselves. Well, for the actor, this instrument I use every day for eating, for sleeping, for making love. But we have to use our number one as an artistic instrument, just like the musician does. But you see, the musician has the instrument outside them, and their feelings, their emotions, the style of the piece that they're playing is coming from themselves, from their inner life. There are their feelings, their emotions. And for the actor, we have an inner life. You see, soul is a very difficult word. It has a lot of baggage. So I call our inner life number two. You could call it your psychology, but it's a strange concept, which I don't particularly like. So number two is a good number. But not only do we have an inner life and a physical body, a number one and a number two, we also live in the world. And that world, the outer world, I call number three. Well, number three. Number three is the outside world, the planet we live on. It's full of nouns and objects like, for example, trees and the log cabin, flowers. It also contains many more things. Those many more things is the whole cosmos, the whole universe. Mountains and rivers, animals, birds, sounds we hear as well. Aeroplanes, birds fluttering. It also contains other people. Now, between number three and number two, the inner life and your physical body, is number one. And number one really is the key, because if number one is not transparent, just like this window, if there's a crack or a smudge or a hindrance, number two cannot be shown through your instrument to your audience. And number three, the outer world, cannot be shown to the audience unless number one is transparent. And it would seem that this transparency is terribly, terribly, terribly important. Because if there's something wrong with number one, you have a block or a hindrance in your number two, it cannot be shown through number one clearly. So it would seem that number one, and all the exercises we do with number one are not just physical exercises. The exercises really have to allow the body to be flexible, transparent, and easy at the same time. So, from number one, number two, and number three, we can see that there are other numbers as well. So let's talk about those now. So we have number one, the instrument. We have number two, our inner life. We have the outside world, the world we live in and operate in and actually act in. It's called a theatre, possibly. Or the world is a stage. But there's another part of ourselves, which I call number four, and that's the part that you call I. For example, I can't say I have to call you Elliot. I can't call you I can only call myself I am Graham, you are Elliot. Number four is the everyday part of ourselves that links us to our past, and it also links us to our future, and we operate with your I or your ego in the very now moment. However, as actors, there's another part of ourselves, not the ordinary everyday part. And that's what Chekhov called the higher creative self. Higher is difficult, and perhaps creative is, although we have a feeling of what being creative is. But by using the word higher, we think it's somehow above and separate from ourselves. Maybe in a way it is, because it's not a part of number 4, our ordinary everyday selves. It's the part which I call it's the real actor. That part we're striving for all the time to develop and grow and expand. So we have now 5 numbers. Number 1, the instrument. Number 2, our inner life, and all that includes. Memories, emotions, feelings, moods are in there, attitudes, beliefs, also values. And we have number 3, the outside world, the world we live in. You live in the world. You are number 4. We strive as actors, and in fact all the exercises we do in those 5 pillars lead us to that other part of ourselves, our number 5, the real actor within us.